My name is Sofia. It used to be just me and my mom. But then Mom married King Roland. Now she's the Queen of Enchantia. And I'm a princess. The trouble is, I don't really know anything about being a princess. I never had to do a royal wave. I'm not sure when to curtsy, or even which fork to use at dinner. I'll never be as perfect a princess as my new stepsister, Amber. But Mom tells me just to be myself and I'll be fine. I'm not sure that will work. How can I be myself and be a princess at the same time? Then King Roland, I mean my new dad, tries to help. He gives me a beautiful necklace called the Amulet of Avalor. Dad says it's a welcome to the family gift, and that lots of princesses before me have worn it. Then he tells me we're having a royal ball. In my honor. He says we'll dance the first waltz together. That's another thing I don't know how to do. Dance. Maybe there will be a dance class at my new school, Royal Prep Academy. The headmistresses are 3 fairies named Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. I tell her about Cedric's magic spell. We search his workshop and find a spell that will wake everyone up. We hurry to the ballroom.
Wait.
Amber says,
I owe you a dance lesson.
now I know we're true sisters and ever after friends. When I get to the ballroom, I say the magic words, and everyone wakes up. Then the king and I begin to waltz. I look over at Amber and smile. I can't believe how happy I am. I think I'm going to fit into this royal family after all.
Sofia.
My dad says.
I am so proud of you. You dance wonderfully.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I mean, Dad.
You know, Sofia, being a princess is about having...
Frozen. When Princess Elsa and Princess Anna of Arendelle were little girls, they were the best of friends. Anna was one of the only people who knew Elsa's secret. Elsa had the power to make snow and ice. One night, Elsa filled an empty ballroom with snow so the sisters could play together. But as they played, Elsa lost control. She accidentally hit Anna with a blast of icy magic. Anna was badly hurt. Her parents went to the ancient mountain trolls for help. A wise old troll told them that Anna could be saved. She was lucky to have been hit in the head, not in the heart. Anna did not remember what had happened. To keep Elsa's gift a secret from everyone else, their parents surrounded the castle with walls and never let anyone inside. But whenever Elsa had strong feelings, the magic still spilled out. Elsa didn't want to hurt her sister again, so she stopped playing with Anna. That made Anna very lonely. Even after their parents were lost in a storm at sea, the sisters didn't spend any time together. Years later, it was time for Elsa to become Queen of Arendelle. For just that day, the castle gates were opened. Hundreds of people attended the coronation ceremony. Elsa worked hard to hide her feelings and her powers. At the party, Anna danced with handsome Prince Hans from the Southern Isles. He made her heart flutter. It seemed like they had everything in common. They decided to get married. Elsa thought their engagement was a bad idea. She told Anna, "You can't marry a man you just met." Anna couldn't believe it. "Why do you shut me out? What are you so afraid of?" Elsa started to lose control. "Enough!" As she shouted, ice shot from her hands. Everyone stared at Elsa in shock. Now all of Arendelle knew Elsa's secret. Elsa panicked and fled for the mountains. Anna felt horrible. Elsa's powers had created a terrible winter storm in the middle of summer. "I'll bring her back and I'll make this right," Anna declared. She left Hans in charge of the kingdom and raced after Elsa. As Anna rode through the fierce wind, her horse threw her into the snow and ran off back to Arendelle. Luckily, Anna met an ice harvester named Kristoff and his reindeer pal Sven. Together, they set off to look for Elsa. As they climbed the mountain, Anna and Kristoff discovered a beautiful winter wonderland. They met an enchanted snowman named Olaf. Olaf knew where Elsa was, and he was eager to help Kristoff and Anna bring back summer. Meanwhile, Hans was helping the people of Arendelle. When Anna's horse came back to the castle without her, Hans turned to the crowd and said, "Princess Anna is in trouble. I need volunteers to go with me to find her." Back on the mountain, Olaf led Anna and Kristoff to a giant ice palace that Elsa had created with her powers. Even Kristoff was impressed. Now that's ice. Inside, Anna told Elsa about the terrible storm in Arendelle. Elsa was worried. She didn't know how to unfreeze the town, and she thought that Arendelle and Anna might be better off without her. Anna wanted Elsa to come home, but Elsa was too scared that she would hurt more people. As the sisters argued, an icy wave of magic burst from Elsa's body and struck Anna in the chest. Anna wouldn't leave without her sister. Elsa knew what she had to do. She used her magic to create a giant snowman to chase Anna and her friends out of the palace. The snowman chased them toward a steep cliff. Kristoff thought they could jump, saying, "There's 20 feet of fresh powder down there. It will be like landing on a pillow." Hopefully. The friends landed safely below. They had escaped from the snowman, but Anna had other things to worry about. Anna's hair was turning snowy white. Kristoff brought Anna to the trolls. One troll told them that unless Elsa's magic was reversed, Anna would be frozen solid. Only an act of true love could thaw a frozen heart. Anna knew she loved Hans. Maybe a kiss from him would work. As the friends hurried toward Arendelle, Anna began to shiver. Kristoff was worried about her. He was starting to care for Anna. Hans and his soldiers had just arrived at the ice palace and attacked Elsa. They brought her back to Arendelle and threw her in the dungeon. When Anna arrived in Arendelle, she asked Hans to save her with a kiss. But Hans refused. He had only pretended to love her. He wanted to take over Arendelle by getting rid of Anna and Elsa. Hans left Anna alone and shivering. Olaf found her and helped her warm up by the fire. But Anna was getting weaker and weaker. Olaf glanced out the window and saw Kristoff racing toward the castle. "There's your act of true love right there," said Olaf. Kristoff was the one Anna needed to kiss. With the last of her strength, Anna struggled outside. Elsa had escaped from the dungeon, but Hans was close behind her. Hans told Elsa that her magic blast hit Anna's heart. "I tried to save her," he said, "but it was too late." Elsa collapsed in the snow and closed her eyes. Everything she had done to protect her sister had failed. Nearby, Anna was hurrying toward Kristoff when she heard Hans draw his sword. She turned and saw her sister. Elsa was in danger. Instead of saving herself, Anna leaped in front of her sister, crying "No!" Hans swung his sword, but it shattered against Anna's frozen body. She had turned to solid ice. Elsa clutched her sister. "Oh, Anna, no. Please, no." Suddenly, Anna began to thaw. Her arms, warm again, reached around Elsa, and the two sisters hugged. As Olaf watched them, he remembered what the wise old troll had said. An act of true love will thaw a frozen heart. Anna's love for Elsa had saved both of them and the kingdom. The two sisters were best friends again, and summer had returned to Arendelle. Elsa even made Olaf a little snow cloud to keep him from melting. Elsa had a surprise for Anna. The castle gates were wide open. "We are never closing them again," she said. Now everything was the way it was supposed to be. The end.
Toy Story: A New Mission. Andy was leaving for college, and his toys were heading to the attic. But Sarge and his Green Army men had a different plan. They climbed up to the windowsill. "What are you doing?" asked Buzz. "We're moving on," Sarge replied. Sarge explained that the platoon's tour of duty in Andy's room was over. It was time he and his troops took up a new mission. With one last salute, they jumped off the windowsill, opened their parachutes, and sailed across the city. Before long, the three army men landed near a toy store, the perfect place to find a child and a new home. They waited until they saw a boy and his mother walking toward them. "This child is military material," Sarge whispered. "On your marks, gentlemen. Go, go, go!" Quickly, Sarge and his men jumped into the mother's shopping bag. But the soldiers weren't taken home for playtime. They made a different stop instead. The boy and his mother went to a bakery, where the baker gave the boy a giant cookie. As he reached for it, the boy knocked the bag over, and the army men tumbled to the floor. After the boy left, the baker spotted the toys beside the counter. New decorations, the baker thought, as he scooped them off the floor. Then he carried them into the kitchen, washed them off, and put them on a cake. Soon, the army men were ankle-deep in icing, in a refrigerator with other cakes. "Looks like we're in for a long, cold night," Sarge sighed. But as soon as morning came, the soldiers were on the move again. The baker put the cake in a box, and a few hours later, Sarge and his men found themselves in front of a very happy birthday boy. "Green Army men, cool!" the boy exclaimed. Excited, he plucked the soldiers off the cake and set them aside. "This could be it, men," Sarge whispered. "This boy could lead us to our new home." The soldiers nodded in agreement. Their mission was back on track. Then, somehow, the soldiers lost the boy. Sarge scanned the Pizza Planet party room. "Target is heading for the exit. Let's move, move, move!" The army men followed the boy out the door, but they were too late. He was gone. Before the army men could retreat, a pizza delivery truck screeched to a stop just beside them. They watched as a waiter came out of the restaurant with a tall stack of pizza boxes in his arms. "Take these pizzas to the Wilderness Explorer picnic," the waiter told the driver. "And hurry, there are a lot of hungry kids waiting for lunch." Sarge looked at his men and smiled. Perfect, they all thought. Sarge and his troops climbed onto the top of the pizza truck. But as soon as the truck hit a bump, one of the soldiers' parachutes opened. The wind was strong and began to pull him off. "Go on without me," the cadet called. "Negative," said Sarge. "A good soldier never leaves a man behind." He and the other cadet let go of the truck, held onto the soldier, and let the wind carry them off. They landed on the side of the road, and as night fell, they made a tent out of a newspaper they found. The cadets went to sleep, but Sarge stayed awake, wondering when and where they'd find their new home. At last, Sarge fell asleep. But the next morning, he and his men awoke to a loud rumble. Moments later, their tent was lifted into the air and then tossed into a trash can with Sarge still inside. As the two cadets watched from the grass, a garbage man shook the garbage, including Sarge, into the back of a garbage truck. The man set the can back on the sidewalk, then jumped in the driver's seat and drove off. In the back of the truck, Sarge struggled to keep his head above the garbage. Luckily, the cadets came to his rescue just as Sarge began to sink. "Grab my hand, Sarge," cried one cadet, as the other one held his base. As soon as they could, the troops jumped off the truck and landed on a wall. Maybe leaving Andy's house wasn't such a good idea after all, Sarge thought. But just then, they heard something that made them stop and turn. The soldiers peered over the wall and gasped. They'd landed right next to a beautiful playground. Could this be their new home, they thought, as they parachuted down for a closer look. A group of toys welcomed the army men with warm smiles and open arms. "Welcome to Sunnyside Daycare," the toys said. "Everything's new and improved now that our old boss Lotso is gone." Ken and Barbie gave the troops a tour of the playground and the classrooms. "Isn't it wonderful?" said Barbie. Sarge nodded, and so did his men. It felt exactly like the home they'd been looking for. The next morning, Sarge proudly watched his men experience a full day of play at Sunnyside. Without a doubt, the soldiers were home. Mission accomplished. At last. The end.
Tangled. Rapunzel's story. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom ruled by a kind king and queen. They were happy until the queen became very sick. Right away, the king sent his guards to dig up a magical flower with healing powers. Unfortunately, the flower belonged to a wicked woman named Mother Gothel, who was furious to lose her precious flower. And so, when the king and queen had a baby, she stole the child away. Mother Gothel hid the girl, Rapunzel, in a tower. It turned out that her long hair had the same healing powers as the flower. Mother Gothel used Rapunzel's hair to stay young and told her she was her mother. Each year, on their lost daughter's birthday, the Queen and King sent lanterns into the night sky. Rapunzel saw the floating lights from her tower and longed to see them up close. But Mother Gothel always said no. One day, Mother Gothel went away, and a stranger climbed into the tower. Rapunzel knocked him out with a frying pan and searched through his bag. Inside, she found a stolen crown. Curious, she tried it on. The stranger, Flynn Rider, was a thief on the run, but Rapunzel saw him as her chance to see the floating lights. She offered him a deal. If Flynn helped her, she would give him back the crown. Flynn did not want to go to the city. He was hiding from the Stabbington brothers, 2 thieves he had worked with, as well as the palace guards. But he could not say no. Reluctantly, Flynn climbed down the tower, while Rapunzel used her hair to lower herself to the ground. To Rapunzel, finally being in the outside world was like a dream come true. Rapunzel had never run through grass before, or climbed a tree, or sat in a field of flowers. Still, she felt nervous. Mother Gothel had always told her that the outside world was scary, and Mother Gothel wouldn't lie, would she? Flynn tried to scare Rapunzel into returning home. He took her to the scariest place he knew, the Snuggly Duckling, a tavern full of thugs. But when Rapunzel sang about her dream of seeing the lanterns, they all became friends. The thugs even showed Rapunzel and Flynn a secret way out of the tavern before the palace guards could catch them. As they fled, Flynn hurt his hand. Then Rapunzel put her hair around it, and his wound was healed. Flynn was amazed, so Rapunzel explained about her magical hair. "But once it's cut," she said, "it loses its power." Meanwhile, Mother Gothel had discovered that Rapunzel was gone and begun to search for her. The next morning was Rapunzel's birthday. Flynn led her to town, which was just as wonderful as the woods. She and Flynn danced and ate cake, and then they took a boat to watch the lanterns from the harbour. Twilight came, and glowing lanterns filled the sky. "I have something for you too," Rapunzel told Flynn gratefully. She handed him the crown, and Flynn knew what he had to do. Flynn went ashore and tried to give the crown to the Stabbington brothers, but the thieves knocked him out. Then they found Rapunzel and told her Flynn had traded the crown to them for her. "No!" Rapunzel cried. She tried to run away, but she couldn't. Suddenly, Mother Gothel rushed and saved Rapunzel from the thieves. Rapunzel didn't know that Mother Gothel had told the brothers to capture her. Mother Gothel took Rapunzel back to the tower, but Rapunzel kept thinking about all she had seen. Suddenly, all the pieces fell into place. "I'm the lost princess," she realized at last. Instantly, Mother Gothel stopped pretending to be nice. She tied Rapunzel up, and then, when Flynn came to try to save her, she attacked him. Flynn was hurt, and Rapunzel knew she could heal him with her hair. "I'll stay with you," she promised Mother Gothel. "Just let me save him." "Swear it," said Mother Gothel, and Rapunzel did. But Flynn refused to let Mother Gothel win. As soon as Rapunzel came near him, He sliced off her hair with a shard of glass. Quickly, it turned brown, and Mother Gothel began to grow older and older before their eyes. Soon, Mother Gothel was gone, but Flynn still wasn't healed, and Rapunzel no longer had her magic hair. A single tear fell from her face. An instant later, Flynn's eyes opened. The magic in her tear had saved his life. Overjoyed, Rapunzel and Flynn went to the palace, where Rapunzel was welcomed by her real parents, the King and Queen. They were overjoyed to have their darling daughter back after so many years. And though Rapunzel's hair was no longer magical, she was still by far the most enchanting girl that Flynn Rider had ever met. The end.
The Little Mermaid. Ariel to the rescue. "Oh, Eric, this is wonderful," Ariel said as she twirled around the ballroom with her prince. "I can dance with you and see the ocean from here." She still missed her sea friends sometimes, but she loved being with Eric. The next morning, Prince Eric caught up with Ariel walking along the beach. He knew she was hoping to visit with Flounder and Sebastian and her other friends from the sea, but they didn't seem to be around. Together, they watched the waves crash onto the shore. "Maybe it's too rough for the fish to come this close," Prince Eric said. "We'll figure out a way to bring the land and sea together. Don't worry, Ariel." At dusk, Ariel went to Eric. "I was thinking about what you said earlier. I want to show you something," she said. She led the prince to the quiet lagoon they had rowed in long ago. "Do you think my friends would feel safer visiting me here?" Ariel asked. Eric rubbed his chin. Maybe," he replied, suddenly getting an idea. He had to make sure it would work, though, before he said anything to Ariel. Weeks later, Eric told Ariel that he had a surprise. He led her to the lagoon and showed her a new wall. It was big enough to keep out sharks, but it had a gate so her friends could swim in any time. In fact, Flounder, Scuttle, and Sebastian were all there to greet her. "Isn't this a great idea?" Scuttle exclaimed. Ariel was thrilled. "Oh, Eric, I love it," she said. Ariel was so excited that she waded into the water to greet her friends. Then she saw something swimming. Look! A small dolphin leaped out of the water. "He's just a baby," Ariel said. "Where's your mother?" Flounder asked the dolphin. But the baby raced away. "Poor little guy," Flounder said. "He seems scared of me." But the princess didn't give up. She coaxed the baby to swim to her. Still, he looked very sad. "I bet your mother is on the other side of that wall," said Flounder. "Don't worry, we'll find her for you." But a few days later, Sebastian and Flounder still hadn't found her. "This is terrible," Sebastian said. Ariel decided that the very next day, she would ask her other under-the-sea friends for help. Late that night, Ariel awoke to thunder. From her window, she saw huge waves crashing onto the shore. "The baby dolphin must be terrified," she told Eric. "We have to see if he's all right." Eric followed Ariel out into the stormy night. When they arrived at the lagoon, Flounder was already there, trying to calm the baby dolphin down. Ariel climbed onto the lagoon wall and called to the sea creatures. "Help me, please. I'm Ariel, Princess of the Seas. I need my father, King Triton." A whale was the first to respond. Then a school of fish splashed their fins. "Thank you," the princess shouted as the sea creatures raced to find the king. At last, there was a flash of light, and King Triton appeared. The storm quieted down, and the baby dolphin's mother swam up to the gate, frantically trying to get in. "Oh dear, the gate won't open. She can't get in," Ariel exclaimed. King Triton raised his trident. "Swim back, everyone," he said. Then he took aim, and a bolt of lightning blasted the whole lagoon wall down. First, the mother and baby dolphins swam to each other. Then they swam up to King Triton to give him their thanks. Then, at last, they swam up and playfully splashed the prince and princess with their tails. "I think that means we're forgiven," Ariel told Prince Eric, laughing.